Has anyone ever suggested to you that you should try journaling? And when you've made an attempt, you've struggled with where to start or what to write down, or even how to write the words on the paper, the tone or how to speak. If so, stick around because this video, I'm going to give you simple and practical tips on how to journal, especially whilst in recovery. So today, I'm going to talk about something that's simple, but helped me massively through my recovery. And as you know, that thing is journaling. So I'm going to explain in detail, but not in a complicated way. Not in a way that makes you think, oh, you've got to write pages and pages, because one sentence is enough at times, just simple, honest reflection. And that's what journaling's about. So after going through major surgery and cancer treatment, there was a period where everything in my life slowed down. Physically, I was recovering, and, visually, if you saw me, then you'd see that I was doing okay, but mentally, there was a hell of a lot going on, and I couldn't put anything into order. I couldn't put nothing in, priority or order, so I realised that I needed a way to organise through that and start checking things off, to make progress. So it was suggested to me by my therapist, who I was seeing at the time, and I struggled. So I could see, and I was acknowledging that there was something not right. I needed to put things in perspective, in order, But when it's all going round and round in your head, you got your fears, your worries, your anxieties, on top of how you're going to pay your bills, how you're going to earn money, feeding yourself, So it was suggested to me by my therapist, and I made an attempt again. I struggled. I didn't know what to write down. So I was just writing anything, and I found that I was writing about almost every situation, any situation through the day, how it was making me feel, how I was thinking. And I felt to myself that this isn't the way that I want to do it. So the way my therapist suggested it to me and the exercise she gave me to use was understandable, because it was about coping or facing and dealing with emotions, what makes you feel down, what triggers you, that sort of thing. So, but I've got a different aspect of journaling. So what I did realise is that when you write things down, or when you do journal, it helps get things off your mind. It helps give you some kind of clarity. It puts it on paper, which gets it out of your head. So it definitely helps. It's just a case of, what do you write down? My personal view is that people think to journal, you have to be a good writer, or, it has to be kind of like poetry, or, what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not got to be good writing, but it's not necessarily the case. It's a case of, it's whatever's going on in your head. It's a case of, how much do you need to offload? That will determine how much you actually write down. And that's enough. You're answering that simple question in your own brain. It doesn't matter if it's one sentence or a paragraph or a page. It's whatever it takes for you to get that thought out of your mind, so it stops running circles in your head, So with journaling, I took another angle, and then I felt like I was writing a story, and it was like not just a story, but like my life story. It was kind of like it's becoming a big biography. So I thought it out again, and I approached it with a whole nother element of strategy. So what I did is I wrote a book myself and published myself. So the book, just grab it, called From Hospital Bed, to Stability. It's a recovery companion for anybody who's been through any kind of, trauma, surgeries, illnesses, anything that you kind of struggle to get help with, in mainstream world. So I've structured this book as a journal. Each chapter, I'll show you, ends with a reflection. So there's a pause and reflect at the end of each chapter with one to three questions. But the way I've structured the book as well is with loads of space. So there's chapters which you can read through, and you don't have to read it in order. You can read it, you can start at chapter 8, 9, 10. You can start as far back and work your way to the front, or you can start at the front and read your way through to the end. There's no right or wrong way to use the book. It's like your own personal diary and journal that you can carry around anywhere. Carry it to your hospital appointments. If you're undergoing surgery and that sort of thing, by all means have it by your bedside, whilst you're recovering. Put things into perspective, write things down. But as I was trying to show you, and it says in here how to use the book, it's not a book that you rush. It's a recovery companion, as the subtitle suggests. You can read it in a hospital bed, in a waiting room, between appointments, wherever suits, on public transport, So they are short, sharp chapters, literally just a couple of paragraphs per page, with space all the way around. So you can make notes, write directly into the book. It doesn't matter. And if you're not sure where to start with the book, just keep it simple for yourself. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What do I need today? Focus on today's problems only. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's in the future. Just get through today. And what's one small thing that I can do to make things a little bit better? That's all. It's literally being honest and open with yourself. You don't need anything more complicated than that. And you're not always going to get the answers that you're looking for with conversation. And this is something that I was struggling with. So speaking to consultants, nurses, even specialists with charities and things like that, there's always something missing. So instead of searching for the answer's probably already within you, But when you start writing things down, you start to gain some clarity. And you don't need anything more complicated than that. You'd be surprised at how simple life can be. So if you're going through recovery right now, you don't need to have it all figured out, because you don't know what ups and downs, you're going to come across. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. It's all about just riding those waves. You just need small moments of clarity, and journaling helped me find that. Because when you've got those moments, it can quite easily be forgotten, especially while you're going through it. So when you're writing it down, it's there, you can refer back to it. If you remember something a year down the line, the book's still sitting there, just flick through it, have a glance, And journaling generally helped me find that, which pushed me to write a book. So if you want something structured that will guide you, that's exactly what From Hospital Bed to Stability is about, And it's you working with yourself and your mental health, your brain, what's going on in your head, putting it on paper and getting where you need to be. you know. So thank you for watching the video. I know it's been a while since my last one. I've had a couple of projects going, i.e. the book and a couple of things at home. But I'll see you in the next one. Stay well and all the best.